Hey, everybody. Really fascinating chat as we dive into the world of mobile gaming with a true innovator, a legend in the space at Zynga. Gabriella, how are you?
I'm good, Evan. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. For those who, unlike myself, knew FarmVille and played all the mobile games for many years, how do you describe your role and Zynga these days?
Yes, well, I'm VP of Global Brand Sales and Partnerships at Zynga. I've been here 13 years, which is hard to believe, but there's never a dull moment. It's always something new. So it keeps me on my toes. I've spent over 20 years in the digital industry. I've had stints at Electronic Arts and Yahoo, CBS, BuzzFeed. But Zynga's kept me engaged for a really long time. We are one of the largest mobile game studios globally. We were acquired in 2022 by Take-Two Interactive, which also owns Rockstar, which makes Grand Theft Auto, and 2K, which makes great games like NBA 2K. So we are their mobile studio, and it's an exciting place to be because mobile is the largest sector within the gaming industry, and we're doing great things.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And how do you kind of work with brands to kind of not only deliver amazing games, but understand today's gaming audience?
Yeah, well, the unique thing about mobile gaming is that it's generally speaking free to play. So anyone can go on the app stores and download games for free. And even though we generate collectively as an industry, multiple billions in revenue, only 5% of players actually pay to play, like meaning making those $2, $3 micro payments to get more lives, more gas, whatever the unique game mechanic is. So we work to monetize really like the other 95% of people that aren't paying to play. And because it's a free experience, it's really this value exchange of, seeing ads to get your great content for free. So we've been working with brands for, you know, well over a decade, who integrate, from anything from just buying ads in our games to doing fully immersive experiences.
Amazing. And talk about the audience these days. We think of mobile gaming and gaming as, kids, as we still call them. But I play mobile games. Both my adult children play them. So is it pretty much everyone and anyone these days?
Absolutely. I mean, it is mass market entertainment. And I think
Hmm.
there is this stereotype, this pervasive stereotype that I think is starting to break, that the gamer is this teenager in the basement. And definitely teenagers in the basement play games for sure. But, the average gamer, the average age of a gamer is way older than people think. It's like mid to late 30s, just
Hmm.
generally across PC, console, mobile already. But when we look at mobile does tend to skew more female, especially when we talk about casual gaming, which is Zynga's main focus. So we're looking at, 65% female, like millennial Gen X women who are playing all of the time. And that's not to say that, Gen Alpha, Gen Z, or even boomers aren't playing because every segment is playing. But the real sweet spot in mobile is that, you know, millennial mom, basically.
Wow, that's funny. Yeah, I hadn't imagined that until I saw my 27-year-old daughter playing a game intensely the other day. And I'm like, where is this coming from? You weren't never into mobile games, but it's so fun and appealing. So, what does it mean for brands to reach that audience? Talk about advertising, which goes way back, but it's getting much more sophisticated these days.
It definitely is. Well, I think, something that I'm very passionate about and fascinated by really is something that's been coined as the female economy. And women are making up globally 70% of purchasing decisions across the board. So we're buying for ourselves, our children, our spouses, our friends, our parents. We are the economic engine of the globe. And it's not only like as a chief household officer, right, buying groceries or back to school items for our kids. But, a lot of us are career women, we're leaned in and we're savvy and we're, making financial decisions, healthcare decisions in general for our families and ourselves. So that's what makes this audience so attractive from an advertiser perspective.
Interesting. And what types of brands are performing better in mobile than others? Of course, we see ads everywhere. But at least for me, the more targeted, the more, focused they are on me, the more success they have. I'm always buying something on a TikTok shop or a Facebook, unfortunately, because it knows me really well. How do you get that same experience as an advertiser on mobile?
I mean, the mobile experience, it's sort of this hybrid, I would say, between social media and TV. So like mobile is very similar to traditional advertising because there are natural commercial breaks when you're watching TV, just like there's natural breaks when you're playing a game. And then, gaming has something that neither TV nor social has, which is this concept of rewarded advertising, which is a really native experience when you're playing a game. And that's a completely opt-in experience. So you're playing, you have a friction moment, you've run out of lives in your game, and you have a couple of choices: either stop playing, which typically no one wants to stop playing, you can pay, and a lot of people don't want to pay for more lives, or you can watch an ad and in return be gifted a free life thanks to the brand that was in that video slot. So, and then in terms of social, what I would say is that, a lot of social is like that vertical orientation, right? So like all of those ads that you see on social port really well into a mobile gaming space. But we have a lot of custom units too that we do, interactive ads. We like to say mini games where we gamify brands, or even just interactive video. And this really requires like this two-way longer engagement between consumer and brand. So while social media, there's a lot of likes and shares, it has less deep of a true two-way engagement. And I think that we really try to leverage the behavior we see on mobile. So like within the top 100 mobile properties, Zynga is number 6 in time spent. And that
Wow.
is absolutely mind-boggling, right? Because after you take like who's got more time spent than us, it's yes, like the social media networks and it's audio, of course, right? But after that, it's us. And that's because we have that secret to engaging audiences for such a long time. So we try to take that time spent and that really deep, long engagement and port that over to brands, because the more time you spend with a brand, especially in a native way, like if it's gamifying the experience with the brand within a game, it tends to have really, really great ROI.
Interesting. So you work with many different franchises. You have very well-known IP, as it were. I mean, how do you help those brands reach new audiences? How do those partnerships work? I have no idea coming from outside the industry.
Well, I think that we always start with the KPIs of the brand, right? And it's not a one size fit all solution. So we match whatever we're offering and how we're partnering to what those brands' KPIs are. Sometimes it's about finding new audiences. Sometimes it's about reaching audiences in a different way, right? Like, so for example, I would say the vast majority of people are watching TV with their phone in their hand, right? And when you're watching TV, like, yes, I think CTV streaming, they're trying to make their ads interactive, but people don't really want to like use their remote necessarily to interact with an ad.
Mm.
So we're like a really great companion vehicle that people are sitting on their couch playing games while they're watching TV. And it's a really easy thing to, see something you like in the game, throw it in your Amazon or Target or Walmart cart, and then come right back to playing. It's a shorter window to actually be able to like convert to a purchase than a TV ad. So we see ourselves really as a companion to that experience and a companion to many experiences. And I think where gaming excels is in what we call mid-funnel metrics. So classic marketing, there's like a top of funnel thing. You've got awareness, then you've got like mid-funnel, which is preference, favorability, consideration, and then you've got outcomes, which is like driving the sale. So, across the board, gaming really thrives in that middle funnel, and you can't skip from awareness to performance, right?
Yeah.
We're in a highly fragmented marketplace. Not only, I think that the latest numbers are people are spending 13 hours a day with media. So there's a lot of options out there and people are being bombarded with ads, but at the same time, there's a huge amount of competition. Like when you go to any supermarket, how many different types of deodorant can you buy? Crack, toothpaste, etc. And you need to stand out. And gaming is what really helps you stand out because you have a longer opportunity to share your attributes to the consumer and why they should buy you. So it's like this perfect mix of, the audience buying all the stuff and the ability to have a longer engagement with that consumer to really push them over the edge to favor your brand at the end of the day, once they make the purchase.
Fantastic. Are there certain brands that are performing really well in mobile gaming versus other formats?
Yeah, I would say that, we are like as I was saying, a general entertainment property. So we attract a huge variety of brands that truly match the audience that we have. And I just want to footnote that it's not that we don't have men. Like we're 60% female, 40% male, but we have 150 games. So there are some games that are very heavily male skewed, and some games that are very heavily female skewed. And so again, we match the brand to that outcome. But things like retailers, the Targets, Walmarts, Amazons of the world, the insurance category, pharmaceutical, CPG, like one from, Procter and Gamble to Neutrogena to Henkel, to Colgate Palmolive. It's really everybody. Entertainment is one of our longest standing partnerships because gamers tend to be like major entertainment enthusiasts. They go to movies opening weekend. They subscribe to multiple streaming services. So that's been a really strong category for years and years. I'm sure QSR is another one. Being, restaurants, quick fast food, for example. But of course, snacking and gaming are like very, very intertwined. So it's a great place to reach people. And so it's across the board. It's like anyone you would see, watching primetime TV or sports, they're advertising with us.
Very cool. And how about on the creative side at Zynga, creating fun and interesting games? Obviously, you can't talk about too much of the future, but what is the trend? Is it bigger games? Is it more niche games? Is it all the above?
Well, I think, we're a major company, part of a huge public company. So I definitely think that we err on the side of like bigger titles that attract mass audiences. So we have several studios. So the great thing about Zynga, and one of the core reasons for our success, is that we have some homegrown game studios, and then we've acquired many game studios. So we always allow the studios that we've acquired to have a lot of autonomy on how they operate. And we, as a kind of corporate central layer, like I'm part of the central publishing team, we're really there to service our studios to make them as successful as they can be. So every studio sort of has a different specialty, I would almost say. Like we've got, the Match 3 studios predominantly a studio called Peak. They're based in Turkey. We have our sports guys, Nordius, you know, so they work on soccer games and golf games. We've got our, of course, Words of Friends, illustrious Words of Friends team. They're sort of distributed between Texas, California, and Toronto. We have Invest in Express Games, which those are headquartered like in Spain. So we really have this global talent pool that are all dedicated to making great gaming experiences for our consumers. And, you know, we always think our mantra is like, what will our players thank us for? So I think there's, you know, just a variety of like core genres, role-playing games, Invest Express games, Match 3 games, hybrid games that are kind of taking these genres and mashing them up a bit, word games. So, I mean, I think, you know, a lot of consumers, they tend to love 1 or 2 or 3 games and be very dedicated to those games until they move on kind of to the next game. And, you know, they might not move on ever. They might play one game for years, or they might discover a new game. Of course, you know, we're trying to make sure that they find another game within our suite of titles, since we have so many options out there.
Yeah, amazing. So I'm headed off shortly to Mobile World Congress, the big mobile get together, all kinds of new devices, new form factors, foldables, triple fold phones. So the definition of mobile is changing dramatically. AR will have AR games and games with in your glasses, I'm sure. Not too long at all. What are you excited about for this year and as you continue to work with brands around the world?
Yeah, well, what I'm excited about is I do think that we have kind of crossed the line of less need for education about why gaming is so big, who's playing games. We've sort of branched out of that into, I think, honestly, a lot of what I'm excited about is moving from this innovation bucket where, you know, people are like, oh, what's this game thing? I'm going to try it out, to kind of a massive integrated part of the must buy media landscape. And I think that we're easier to buy than ever. I think that what I am excited about is there's something called media mix modeling. And that is something that brands use to determine where they should invest their budgets. The problem with media mix modeling is it was based on, you know, from the 70s, like television anchored it. There's a lot of really key verticals that don't show up in MMM, and gaming is one of them. I think that brands and agencies are aware of this kind of missing link. And I do think that advances in AI technology are going to allow MMM to leapfrog ahead and be able to truly measure cross-platform more effectively, which I think will provide a lot of tailwinds in the gaming space. You know, you've got retail media, CTV, social, creator, mobile app, gaming, like, you know, digital audio. There's so many of these things, and people want one source of truth, and that doesn't quite exist yet. And so I'm really bullish that I think a lot of the ad tech firms with AI will finally get it to a place where the ad infrastructure is not based on a legacy model, but based on a model where, you know, advertisers and consumers can truly leverage what is available to them.
Fantastic. Well, so exciting and great for brands and gamers alike. Can't wait to try out the next Zynga game. And thanks for joining, giving a peek behind the curtain to what's going on in mobile gaming. Great to see
Happy
you.
to be here. Thanks, Evan.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for listening, watching. Check out our TV show, TechImpact.tv on Bloomberg TV and Fox Business. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Gabriella.
Thank you.